His final pro season with the Colts in 2020, he holds the Chargers' team records in every major category, winning 137 career games. He's sixth all-time in NFL history with more than 63,000 passing yards. He's also sixth with 421 touchdown passes. Offensive lineman Zach Tom and the Packers have agreed to a contract extension, 4 years, $88 million. He gets a signing bonus of just over $30 million. The total deal, the largest for an offensive lineman in NFL history. The 26-year-old tackle's now under contract through 2029. He was originally a fourth-round pick out of Wake Forest in 2022. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive.
That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel.
It's a sweet deal. All you gotta do is just listen and start winning. We can't make it any simpler. Yeah, we'd be lying if we told you we hadn't considered asking for a cut. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, listen, I don't know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159.
All right, now the best job every day is officially underway. It is Moneyline, it is Donnie, it is Kevin, it is 1 hour, it is Tuesday, and away we go. It is the summer months. It is everybody getting the training camp by tomorrow. Kevin, every single team, all 32, will be in the building today, I believe. 30 teams in the building. Tomorrow makes it 32, and away we go. And a week away from a pro football preseason game, and a lot of fun that's going to be. Hot topics, Kevin, as camp gets started. We're going to have some fun with that today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, DRS. Yeah. Now, I don't know. Let's get the silly stuff out of the way. Why are the Falcons and Steelers not reporting until tomorrow? Like, what's the story with that?
They want the extra day to relax. You know what I mean? Maybe some of their family function. Maybe Tomlin's like, you know what? I wanted to play golf on that Tuesday. I always play golf Tuesdays. We can't start camp Tuesdays. Push it back to Wednesday at that point here. That's why.
All right. Fair enough.
How about the teams in camp like an extra week early because they got to play the extra Hall of Fame game? Tough scene, man. Used to be in the past.
Drew it
five. Two teams had 5 preseason games at that point. I mean, that's extended camp time at that point. Hopefully the guys were getting some good meals and good per diem at that point here. But teams are showing up, Kevin. But that doesn't mean all players are showing up, which you know when training camp starts, you like to see the pads get on. The guys are high-fiving. Excitement is there. Nobody's legs hurt just yet. Nobody's angry at camp. Nobody's punching each other in the head. That'll come a little bit later in camp. But Trey Hendrickson is like, I'm about to punch Mike Brown in the head because they had their, de facto luncheon, State of the Union, where the coaches talk, which I told you yesterday, like more preseason action for Cincinnati. And you prove some of those data points where, they should play in the preseason because they stink in the first couple games of the year. You can't afford that. Well, Trey Hendrickson's out here showing Instagram posts from like Florida when that's nowhere near Ohio where you're trying to get your training camp underway for the Bengals. How does this turn out? Because we did a poll this morning, like between like Shamar Stewart and Trey Hendrickson. We'll get to Shamar in just a moment. But Trey Hendrickson basically like, hey, man, I tried to stoke the conversation to get over the past couple of days. The Bengals like, you make enough. We'll see you in camp.
Yeah, look, man, I think that there are some people because deals get figured out more often than not who then apply that logic to every single situation. And again, it would then allow them to be correct more often than not.
Yeah.
This Trey Hendrickson thing has been bizarre the whole way. I think one of the more forgotten storylines, Donnie, is that the Cincinnati Bengals at one point this offseason told Trey Hendrickson, hey, you can go and find a trade, figure out who's willing to pay you, and we're going to move on from you because there's just no way we can all make this money work anyway. That's a real thing that really happened. And I am positive, Donnie, despite where we are and how frustrating it would be for the teams on the other end of the phone, that there are teams that would make that phone call for Trey Hendrickson. Arguably, Donnie, every team in the NFC East other than the Giants, because they just don't need another defensive lineman, would make that phone call, right? You're in a situation, if you're Cincinnati, I'm not saying you can afford to lose Trey Hendrickson, but you are not in a position, despite what despite Donnie, it is their demeanor, where none of this matters. He plays, he doesn't play, we get a return, we don't get a return. It matters. And I think you're seeing an escalation by Trey Hendrickson of him posting that he is out of the state, Donnie. Like, he's not trolling. No, he's letting you know exactly how bad things are right now between him and the Cincinnati Bengals.
But does he understand, which he probably does, he has a business sense, been in the NFL for a long time, where the Cincinnati Bengals do not care if he actually shows up to camp and is unhappy. Like, I joke about it, and I did it once again for like 2 hours this morning, Kevin, where Mike Brown, Katie Blackburn, Duke Tobin are like, Mike, do you understand what this means for us? We're going to pick up like $50,000 a day that we can just put into our like cash pile here if he doesn't show up. And even better, Kevin, when he doesn't show up for the first 3 games of the season, look at that. Like, we can find him like $700,000 a game. We're going to be so rich after this, when it's the exact opposite of how you're supposed to operate a football team. Like, no matter what, you do make money at this point.
Yeah.
But if I am Trey Hendrickson, like, I show up, Kevin, to camp and I start getting belligerent. Like, I show up with my jersey on, sit on the sideline, and just throw like cat calls out there the entire way, like in earshot of like where the beat reporters are allowed to hang out. Like, I cause that. If you remember, like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, the Packers like, hey, I thought you were going to retire. No, you're not. I would like to get moved to, let's just say, another area of this NFL, right? Yeah, we'll do what we want to do with you. All right, I'm catching a private jet. I'll see you in training camp today. Before that jet landed, he was off to the Jets. Like, the jet lands, he's going to New York to play for the Jets. Like, that spurs controversy. Like, if he's away in Florida and Cincinnati's going like, hey, he's not here creating a commotion. We're finding him every day. This is great. Hopefully he holds out the next 30 days and I can buy a brand new Bentley or a Rolls Royce with how much fine money that we're going to get. But why doesn't he show up, Kevin? Because you won't get fined if you show up and you just sit down and don't practice.
Yeah, the hold in. I think, Donnie, not that it's right, but that's why I think I bring up the trade request a little bit. Like, is Trey Hendrickson now of the mind, get me out of here? I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. Because you do see, like, TJ Watt, right? Or James Cook, Micah Parsons. They want to stay with their current organizations. I'm not sure Trey Hendrickson does. And I think that creates a really, really interesting situation. Now, again, is Trey Hendrickson being out of sight, out of mind, helping him, if he does want to trade, get that trade? You'd be totally fair to say no. I also just want to know, like, I assume Donnie, Cincinnati then has their training camp practice today.
Yes.
Like, is Joe Burrow going to speak? And if so, because Joe Burrow did up the ante in public pressure them into bringing back Chase and Higgins.
Yeah, he did.
Like, is Burrow good, Donnie? Like, 5,000 yards, it'll be fine. Like, I don't understand what's going on here, because this whole thing is like, you cannot have a season where you blame every single thing on the defense, and then your two most noteworthy players on the defensive side of the football, this is what's going on. You can't do that.
No, it's ridiculous. If you look at the Bengals, they have a Super Bowl offense. And their defense, sometimes you say to yourself, okay, they were really bad last year, but they didn't really bring back some of those guys. They cut some loose. Some younger players are going to get a chance to play. Al Golden's coming. It can't be as bad as last year. But there are statistics. Like, I even saw like a Warren Sharp statistic basically saying, like, with Trey Hendrickson on the field and like off the field, like the market difference that makes, like, hey, we're like 12th overall and whatever, and now we're 30th if he's not going to play. You can't enter a season, and it's so shortchanging to your fan base, because you understand the concept of the NFL and the level of money that you make as an ownership group. And also, Kevin, win or lose, you always make a ton of money. So there's no pressure to, hey, I need to change my general manager. Duke Tobin's been there for like decades at this point. He's done it, and he doesn't even have a name general manager because Mike Brown's like, hey, if I name you general manager, he's probably got to pay you more. You're just some ridiculous name. You're the de facto general manager. Just run things by me, and we'll get it that way. But when you're operating like under that circumstance, it's like what's the goal of the football team? It's supposed to be, Kevin, to win a championship. If you told me today, like, okay, Trey Hendrickson's back in the building, he's happy, he's paid. Shamar Stewart is in the building, he got his contract details worked out. Made a move, let's just say in training camp, a veteran got cut, we picked up a D tackle. I'm like, you know what? I was slamming the Bengals all off season. If I get Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart creating some pocket presence, that offense is going to put pressure on the other team's defense. Could they actually make a run? And instead, I'm looking at this team going like, you can have all the fun you want on offense, but if you can't get stops, nothing matters. And my always same adage, Kevin, it's football, right? Let's just say Trey Hendrickson's like, I'm not playing this year. Shamar Stewart goes back to college and hangs out for a year. Kevin, the injuries don't stop. Like, what happens if, okay, D tackle goes down week 1, a defensive end goes down week 2? What are the Bengals' season? 45 to 35 games, which we'll love betting, but that's not the goal of your organization. It's to win, and they're not putting their best foot forward. We'll continue more training camp talk next, some crazy plays in Major League Baseball, and what's ahead? Moneyline.
Of summer have returned and taken the field for the great American pastime. You should monetize that. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. This update brought to you by Progressive. San Francisco is set to ban homeless people from living in RVs by adopting strict new parking limits the mayor says are necessary to keep sidewalks clear and prevent trash buildup. The policy up for final review by San Francisco supervisors today targets at least 400 recreational vehicles in the city of 800,000 people. Target is ending price matching of products sold for less at its competitors' stores and websites. For 12 years, Target customers who found a product that was sold for less on Amazon or Walmart's websites could request to buy the same product that was sold at a Target store at the lower price, but the nationwide retailer confirmed Monday that it was updating its longtime price match guarantee policy, removing the price match with competitors and only keeping the match for products with different price differences that were sold in Target stores and on Target's website. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
Yeah, I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Luck is a word losers use. If you think winning is only a matter of chance, you must be new here. We give you sports gaming strategies and information that changes outcomes others flip a coin over. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Training camp with the Bengals, training camp without some of the Bengals, and what the season they can have, because the expectations are Joe Burrow's going to throw for a lot of yards. Jamar Chase is going to be sensational. T. Higgins will be right back in there, and then their defense won't be able to stop anybody. So what's the purpose of the regular season? But let's get to, like, Shamar Stewart, right? Let's get to this guy. Dude's at home. Like, what's funny? What do I got? What about the monologue? Yeah. What happened?
Well, nothing. You did everything great. But during the break, Lisi's name came up, so now I'm on Lisi's Twitter.
Oh, wow.
And Lisi had a tweet yesterday. Donnie, now you know so he went for a meme format. You know, how it started versus how it's going.
Okay.
He tweets how is started versus how it is. And it's just like,
oh God. Man, what was the tweet even about? Like, what was the picture? Like, what did he even use?
It's about, like, to be fair, the photos are decent. It's Connor Stallions, and then it's Harbaugh.
Yes.
Like, the pieces of it are there. But, like, how it started versus how it is. Like, even if we just say, like, how it started, fine. Like, how it started versus how it is not how that goes, man. Like, that's my bad. That's my bad.
And the guy hasn't worked in weeks, man. His mind's not working correctly. We got to whip him into shape here for football season. Is it a Saturday and Sunday for Lisi? Some are asking right now. Is it a Saturday, Sunday for a couple of the boys? We don't know about that. You know, it's only a Sunday for your boy right here. I don't want to. If there are going to be any phone calls to DRS, like, hey, by the way, Saturday's now open on a spot here on the desk. What do you think?
I don't know, man. What about Shamar Stewart? What happened?
Yeah, by the way, Shamar Stewart. Let's take a look at this angle in this kid now, right? Which Mike Brown spoke yesterday and was saying the most asinine things over the air that you can possibly say. So, like I don't understand the advice this kid's getting and this and that and this and that and this and that. And that's the Bengals. And I say to myself, it's simple. There's 32 first-round picks. Your kid's unsigned. That's a you problem. That's not the kid's problem. That's your fault. Everybody is signed. So basically what he is saying is, all right, we're going to throw this clause in here, and maybe other teams have it, but it's up to your agent to be like, wait, I've analyzed every Bengals contract over the past 5 years. Nobody has this clause. You're throwing this on my guy. You expect him to get arrested and be a bad guy. Why did you take him? Well, I understand they're trying to protect themselves. But if you, Kevin, let's just say the signing bonus is, I don't know, $8 million for the 17th overall pick. Like, you get that bonus, and then if you ruin your career, like, yeah, there's no more guaranteed money that you're going to get, but the signing bonus is yours for signing it. And what the Bengals are trying to do, like, hey, man, you get in trouble. We're coming after your signing bonus at this point. Like, we're not doing that. Even though I don't think my client's going to get a DUI that kills somebody, or he's going to grab his gun in a road rage and shoot somebody, right? Like, that's not the expectations. But I do think they're digging in on both sides. It's almost like a come to an agreement. So I was joking this morning, like saying, like what's the meet me halfway in this, Kevin? Is it, well, if you end up on death row, we're not going to pay you, but if you get a 30-day sentence, you'll be okay? Like, this, for a team, like a first-round draft pick where you know you're going to need a defensive end that's going to be able to rush the passer, it's a good pick for them. Trey Hendrickson coming back, you can fix that defense, you can make a run. And really, like, Mike Brown is haggling over this. Like, if they remove it and the kid gets in trouble, Kevin, all right, so he keeps the signing bonus, which 99% of the time they do. But he's not going to get any more guaranteed money moving forward. It's not like, Kevin, he just killed somebody. I got to pay him 6 more years guaranteed money while he's in jail. Like, no, like, it's just a signing bonus. What are we even fighting about here?
Yeah, it's totally crazy that we're having all of this about whether or not Shamar Stewart will end up in jail, right? Like,
yes, but that's what we're doing.
But what you realize is the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to make the language in this contract the standard for their organization. Now, I have seen in some places, Donnie, that they suggest there are organizations who already have this language as a part of their contract. So it is not as if Cincinnati is creating it, but it is not presently a part of the Cincinnati Bengal language. Yeah. So I think what I would say is, remember DRS the other day how you were a little annoyed about the notion of a couple of guys gave out some fully guaranteed contracts to second rounders, and they then, precedent got thrown out of whack. You almost have a situation now where Shamar Stewart not only is almost now going to have to hold the line for every future Cincinnati Bengal draft pick, which is a ridiculous thing to put on this kid. But truly, I think you asked the perfect question. How do we meet in the middle? And I truly can't come up with an answer because they want full language in Donnie, and it's less to do with Shamar and more to do with we want this in all of our contracts moving forward. You just need to be the first one. And you have to go. I see you looking up. I don't know.
It's I have an air-conditioned duck like right above my head, and I'm feeling like I got sprinkled with like a little bit of like a drop.
Okay.
I'm checking. Like, I sent a quick text out as you saw, but I looked up like twice to say like, am I seeing things, hearing things, or it's just condensation? I don't know. But it drove me for
I thought maybe there was just people running upstairs in the home. I thought maybe you had to check on the people.
Nobody's home.
Yeah. So, but to me, right? So Cincinnati's saying we're not budging on this because we need this in all of our contracts moving forward.
Yeah.
Shamar's like, I'm not budging on this because I'm not getting made an example out of. So again, it does feel as if it is another instance, Donnie, where I have no idea how you meet in the middle because Cincinnati doesn't want to compromise on any of that language, and Shamar doesn't want to be the test case. Like, could you imagine, Donnie, after all this, the Cincinnati Bengals proceed to not have their first-round draft choice and don't have Trey Hendrickson? Like, what are we doing?
No, you're right, because my thought process comes in again, which it's always Bengals-centric here. And it's great we're talking about the Bengals here on a Tuesday because of how passionate I've been for years over this program. But tell me where I'm wrong, where the mindset of the team is, no matter what we do, we will make more money. So if we force, like, hey, you know what? You get drafted by us and you don't want to sign, you're going to have to go wait a year before you get back into the NFL. Like, nobody wants that. Like, it's like, oh, man, I might as well just sign this and move away. I actually credit the kid for coming, like, to the first 2 days, like, rookie camp. Like, wait a second. This changed here, so I'm going to sit up the rest of the way. And he was, like, downright belligerent at times, talking to the media like, this organization stinks. Like, they're tricking me on stuff, and I'm not falling for it. And he's still holding up his end of the bargain. But for an organization to go, like, right, Kevin, like, we spent a lot of money, and fantastic for them, that wide receiver and quarterback. It's like, wow, maybe the Bengals, Kevin, have turned that tide. And they go right back into penny pinching mode where it's like, we could make a run to a Super Bowl. But you know what's more important? The next guy wants a contract. He has to understand that we're not going to give it to him. What? Like, I feel so bad for the fan base. They don't deserve this. And if it was about money, Paul Brown, just sell the team. You have more than you can ever dream of, and a high-tech millionaire will come in and push that team over. We'll be back.
SportsGrid. Stamping out the boredom in baseball year after year. We bring you all the angles, insights, and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1963 in their second clash, Sonny Liston once again KOs Floyd Patterson in round 1 in Las Vegas to retain the heavyweight boxing title.
2 jarring right hands are followed by the knockout blow, the left uppercut. Patterson, bewildered, is not sure that the fight has been stopped, this time in 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Until now, the only way to deal with pesky mosquitoes, the old-fashioned way. Now, if you dare, buy into a new Hong Kong-based Indiegogo project called Photon Matrix. A paperback-sized AI device uses LiDAR to invisibly scan for mosquitoes up to 20 feet away. And then high-powered lasers can vaporize up to 30 mosquitoes per second. One unfortunate problem, onboard sensors detecting humans in the kill zone means it won't fire. Otherwise, follow me at G Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
Maybe the team I look at and say I don't want to probably bet on is the Milwaukee Brewers, just from like a firepower standpoint, right? Like, they have a solid bullpen and they have some good starters, but when you look at star power, the Dodgers have it, the Phillies have it, the Mets have it, the Cubs have it, the Padres have it, even the Giants have it. But overall, it's probably not a team that I'm looking forward to going deep in the playoffs.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Have you noticed how hard it is these days to find something to believe? Nonsense is everywhere. But at SportsGrid, we put our mouth where your money is. Because if we're ever wrong, you wouldn't win. Get it? This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Talking about holdouts here, Cincinnati Bengals, what is the deal there? But also, Kevin, there's another big deal in the NFL that we're waiting on, and maybe the most lucrative in the history of the sport. It's Micah Parsons. This has taken many trials, trips, and tribulations, and waves, and tides, wherever you might want to go. Like, Micah was up for a contract extension last year. He's like, I'll play this game. See what Dak Prescott did? Parlayed into it crazy amounts of money. Kirk Cousins has parlayed this into crazy amounts of money. Just keep waiting, because the price of the brick always goes higher. As long as you don't have a devastating, debilitating end of your career injury, and you just put up double-digit sacks, that pay at the end of the rainbow is going to be tremendous. So we come into this year, Mike is getting a deal. Jerry Jones starts out like early in the offseason, like, hey, man, look, me and Mike can meet by ourselves. I don't know who the hell this agent is. I don't even know his name. Jerry, you probably done 15 deals with the guy. You know what his name is. I don't know where that comment came from. So, and of course, Mike is like, yeah, like I talk to Jerry all the time about numbers, but make no mistake about it. These numbers are going directly through my agent. I'm not signing anything on like a napkin that says, oh, no, we got you now at Mike at $35 million per year as opposed to 45 in the guarantees, right? So now Mike is like, all right, I'll play the good soldier. I'll come to camp last year. I'll play in the regular season. I'll play as hard as I can. Yeah, I missed 4 games last year. Jerry said it was 6, but it was only 4. We'll go into the offseason. Cooler heads prevail. We'll get this deal done. You know what this paycheck is going to be. It's going to be massive. Let's meet together in March. Oh, look, we figured it out. And now we sit here, Kevin, 7/22, which is July the 22nd. Now Jerry's doing press conferences like, hey, man, the guy missed like 6 games last year. I signed him right now. Who says he's going to miss 6 more this year? And I don't know if I want to pay him, which is complete stark contrast to, yeah, we worked everything out in the offseason. You get paid a lot of money. So what's the thought process behind Micah Parsons now in this sort of game? Like Jerry's saying like, well, I paid Dak and he missed games and you missed games last year. And how about Diggs when I signed him and how he ended up like Jerry's throwing his whole team under the bus by saying, I have one of the most dynamic players in football, but he might get hurt.
Donnie, if you take a look at this situation, what is so crazy about it is Micah Parsons' agent barely has any work to do. Because when you are dealing with the top of the market, it's really simple. One of my favorite contract things I have ever seen play out, because it is so funny, was Lamar Jackson was going through one of the most impossible to figure out contract situations it felt like in league history. Jalen Hurts signed his deal and Lamar was done within 2 days of the deal because Hurts' agent, Donnie, essentially did all the framework for the Ravens contract, right? It wasn't like Lamar all of a sudden hired an agent like everybody asked him to. So here's what I'm trying to get at. You can go on Twitter and you don't need to find a cap expert or a former lawyer or anything to tell you what the Micah Parsons contract is going to be. It's going to be $42 million. You can probably, Donnie, honestly, you could probably find someone who can give you a good idea on what the guaranteed amount will even be. Because it's that easy when you are dealing with contracts at the top of the league. And like, this is somehow what they're doing. And they're now making it their brand.
Yeah.
And this was the point, Donnie, that I made yesterday to Rick Kaplan on Game Time.
Yep.
It is almost as if, like, the Dak contract situation, we talked about it a lot. Like, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? The Lamb contract situation, we talked about it a decent amount. Not the most, but okay. We don't even talk Parsons because now we're like, they're just going to wait forever and then they're going to make him the highest paid player, when it's all said and done. And it's as if it's like Jerry got annoyed. He's like, you know what? Nobody's even talking about this because they're like, we're going to pay him. Oh, you know what? Here's this. Micah Parsons, honestly, even if I pay you, are you even going to be around? And by the way, Dak stinks, and I regret that contract. So actually, I don't even know if I'll really pay Micah Parsons. So how about that? And it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like Jerry is saying things right now that are sort of like contrast himself. It's like, hey, man, sometimes it's good to wait. And if you wait, then you hope the player gets hurt. And then it's like, see, I saved money on that. It's like the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Identifying good young talent on your team, paying them early because you can afford extra players later because you saved on the salary cap by signing them 2 years earlier. And he's like, you know what? Sometimes we don't mind paying a lot, like at the end of it, because we want to make sure the play, like that's the opposite of professional sports. You're supposed to, maximize the target window by saying, hey, if we signed Dak 3 years ago, and if we signed Micah last year, well, I can go out and get 2 more really good players this year. It's like, you know what? I don't like that. They might get hurt. I'm going to wait. If it costs me $10 million a year more for Micah Parsons, that's worth it. And then he's going to get injured anyway, and we're never going to win anything. Congratulations, Cowboys. The way business is done.
If you ever hear a Taylor Swift song here, something has gone horribly wrong. We only give you sports gaming strategies and information you need. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Offensive lineman Zach Tom and the Packers have agreed to a contract extension, 4 years, $88 million. He gets a signing bonus of just over $30 million. The total deal, the largest for an offensive lineman in NFL history. The 26-year-old tackle's now under contract through 2029. He was originally a fourth-round pick out of Wake Forest in 2022. Eight-time Pro Bowl quarterback Phillip Rivers announced Monday that he's retiring as a Charger. Although he hasn't played since his final pro season with the Colts in 2020, he holds the Chargers' team records in every major category, winning 137 career games. He's sixth all-time in NFL history with more than 63,000 passing yards. He's also sixth with 421 touchdown passes.
Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In T23, select models only.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Let's keep it real. Baseball can be boring. That's where SportsGrid comes in. Nothing livens up those 9 innings like sports gaming. You might experience something you've never felt in a baseball game, a quickened pulse. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
You like this, Kevin. I always like these topics because it sort of brings up like the best in me and the fun, right? Still talking about football. Von Miller got signed by the Washington Commanders. It's like, Von Miller's been around the block, one of the better defensive ends you're going to see. He's going to make the Hall of Fame one day. 2-time Super Bowl champion, sack artist. When he was at his peak in the NFL and his height of like just in the middle of my prime, he was as devastating as a pass rusher as you could possibly find. So let me answer this question. He goes to Washington. He's still not the superstar that he was, but he's still Von Miller, right? It's like, all right, I earned my way around the league. So yesterday I saw a tweet come up from another beat writer when Von Miller was talking about coming to Washington. And I just looked at the Google search real quick, and it just reads like this. Von Miller, the veteran linebacker, will be wearing number 24, Kevin, for the Washington Commanders in the upcoming season. Like, first of all, Von Miller with 24 is ridiculous of a look. And it says this is a change from his usual numbers of 58 and 40, which were already taken by players on the team. It's like 58 and 40. So yesterday, the tweet didn't actually say that. It just said like 58 and 40 you're taking. So, well, Washington's got a pretty long, let's just say, lifeline as a franchise. Forget about the names. Like, dates what, the 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it dates back to. I'm like, you know what? It was one of those like old school guys, like 58 and 40 that just got retired and you can't have those. No, Kevin, a 58 and 40 on the roster, I never heard of either one of those players. So you're telling me like Von Miller signs and the organization's like, hey, look, we can't take Jaden Daniels 5 and give it to you, right?
Yeah.
Like that's our quarterback. We can't take Terry McLaurin's number. Like we can't, or I don't know, like who's the tackle they just got from Houston Texans? Tunsil. I know he wears the number.
Yeah. No, I got you.
You're not going to rip Tunsil's number off. But two guys, Kevin, I never heard of. Or don't you think that Von, like, hey, look, man, I made a lot of money. Let me take out to a nice dinner. Let me throw you like 3 G's. Let me just get that number. It means nothing to you. Like you just have a random number they assigned. So he goes, that's all right. I'll wear 24. Like, how do you feel about that?
So I saw the edit, Donnie, of him wearing 24, and I almost threw up because he looked like a cornerback. We can't have that. We cannot have that. Like, I don't mind some fluidity in numbers. I don't. Yeah. But I also think, like, some of it exists for a reason. At the end of the day, DRS, occasionally, we can watch as much football as we want. But they have their helmets on. It's not as easy to identify, and even positionally, like I don't want my defensive tackle wearing 11. Like I just don't.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
correct.
Like
yes.
And I also
College is
think
fine.
too, yes, because like I think, Donnie, that those sports should have differences in some way. And to me, like, why is it like that in college? Because college is lawless, man. There's like 4 number 5s on every college team. Like, it's all crazy. And there's 800 guys on the roster. So for me, like, yes, Don, he could have offered up money to get 40 or 58. But also, like, don't pick 24, right? Like, just
it's like,
wear
Champ
57.
Bailey worked there, and Kobe was 24. I'm like, now you're just making
come on. Oh, come on.
24 for an outside linebacker pass rusher. Like, even if he's like, you know what, I'm going to wear number 2. Like, ooh, you know what? Slick number. Like, I'll get used to it maybe. But the thing that when the NFL just switched, because college, you're used to it, right? Tackles wearing weird numbers. It's just the way college is. But you're not ingrained in those guys' overall numbers because in 2 or 3 years, they're gone. We started to find like that first year in the NFL, Kevin, like, superstar players rushing the pass like 22, 29. Like, who? Oh, that's Myles Garrett. Just using a name out there. Like I'm used to these numbers of where they're wearing them. Like 99 is a middle linebacker. Like, no, what are we doing? No, keep everything the same. It's easier. And also, from perspective, refs used to be like, hey, look, man, 52 is 8 yards down the field. Oh, I know who that is. That's a flag. He's can't be more than 2 yards across the line of scrimmage, man downfield. Like now it's convoluted, but just the sexiness of the jersey. It's like 24. Yeah. 24.
I started doing the math, Donnie, like 40 plus 58, but like there's a 98 on the team. I don't know. So do a minus. Like where 18, at least 18 would make sense. Like that's the exact reason to not. He's like, oh, Champ Bailey. Come on, dude. You can't be doing Champ Bailey. The whole point is Champ Bailey's a cornerback. You look ridiculous.
Josh Harris has to come out now and be like, we're going to retire Champ Bailey's 24, so you can't wear that either. Go back to your number. And by the way, like sometimes some teams soft retire jerseys, like the Philadelphia Eagles in number 12, Randall Cunningham. Like it's not really retired, but it is. I always remember when Jerome Brown passed away, the Eagles players retired his 99. So there's no way like Norman Brayman back then, like, hey man, I didn't retire 99. Somebody's wearing like, yo. Like, have some respect for, like, our dead brethren right here. Nobody can wear that again. But the fact that he's wearing 24, like, those things get under my, like, you see the uniforms come out, like, ooh, these look good. These look terrible. Like, Pittsburgh's were atrocious yesterday, got released. But then again, the creamsicle, of course, for the white uniforms for Tampa Bay are just absolutely beautiful. The Eagles, the powder blues that now are all across the board for the Los Angeles Chargers. Like, I love stuff like that. But stuff like this gets me angry. And the fact, like, let me just do research. Like 58 and 40. Oh, Sammy Ball, 40 back in the day. You know what I mean? Like Sonny Jurgensen. Did he wear 58 somehow? Like, no, it's just 2 randos. I got to take 24 now. Instead of those kids stepping up like, hey, man, be my honor. I'll take 24. You take 58, man. Like, you know what? Respect.
But that, that is the other piece of this, Donnie. Like, it's not like you're all of a sudden seeing quarterbacks go out there and be like, you know what, man, let me get 77. Like,
oh God, didn't Teddy Bridgewater like 55 1 year? Like, what was he doing? Remember him?
Yeah, because he was. But like to me, like he's a backup tight end, like or quarterback rather. Like it just doesn't even matter. Like at that point, it's like, you know what, Teddy, that's fine. You're not playing. When
did we have those high numbers? Was it Heath Shuler? Remember Heath Shuler from Tennessee went to the Redskins back in the day? Like he was in the 20s as a quarterback in the NFL. When's the last? Have we had that in a while? Like who was?
No, because Donnie, like what this really is it's just linemen trying to get themselves different numbers. And it's like, what are we doing here?
I'm 340. Sexy. I wear number 7. Like, no, it's not. Like, that's a quarterback number. Let him have it.
I don't know. It's so weird.
Let's see, who are some of these guys? Oh, here, we got a Reddit article. Okay. Quarterbacks who wore numbers other than 1 through 19. John Hadel, 21. No idea who that is. Sammy Ball, 33. How about this one back in the day? Otto Graham for the Browns. Number 60, Kevin, at quarterback. And then Heath Shuler at 21. I think that's pretty much, I don't really know how many more quarterbacks, but that's bad. Like 22 as a quarterback, like you can't do that, right? There's no swag. Like sometimes just looking at that number, like, you know what, this kid gets it. Way to go. 24 to defensive end, Kevin, I can't buy into him. Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah, I agree. I don't, not a fan. Not a fan. Doesn't track, doesn't make sense for me whatsoever. But here we are. I also didn't even really realize that Von Miller was looking for it. Like Keenan Allen isn't on a team. Like why is Keenan Allen not on a team?
I don't know.
Like it's not like you have to.
You know where Keenan Allen would fit good right now again with? Yes, the Chargers. How about that? Come on.
Yeah.
No, Mike Williams goes down. Aren't we back to square one? Stone hands on one side, Lab McConkey in the middle.
Can I give you a take?
Come on, go ahead. Give me a take.
I think Quentin Johnson could have a breakout season.
Oh, no, you don't. You can't.
I do.
Depending on what the schedules are in the fall, like you're going to have me now buying into Quentin Johnson. Like, can I get 17 and a half yards out of him? You know what I mean? Boom, bong, ball off the face.
If I can get let me see if I got a season-long Quentin Johnston prop. Let's just see if I can sell you. Because, look, I like that offense. I like that offensive line. You know, it's only regular season, so we don't have to worry about, obviously the awful postseason. They don't have a season-long Quentin Johnson. I guess why did I think they'd have a season-long Quentin Johnson?
Yeah, exactly. Is he even going to be in the NFL for a season? That's probably what they're asking. Yes or no?
Who are they playing? Donnie, in Brazil, week 1 against the Chiefs.
Too? Hold
Donnie
on.
might go for $120.
Right off the bat, it's like, all right, that's 25 yards. That's his number. McConkey will go for 50. Maybe throw in a Herbert 1 touchdown. Like, that's going to be my big parlay of the night at this point, trying to buy into that. Like, football is so close, too. Like, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Is it September 5th? I think is that Thursday night here. A couple days after Labor Day, and away you go running. By the way, I have a topic here. We're almost at the end of the segment right now, Kevin. You know what the topic that I have is? I want to ask you a question is, commissioners making the right moves, and this deals with a certain sport. I was asking today, when is the finals? Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. No. So Kevin knows where I'm going with this. People, if you don't know, I'm quite angry at this. I don't think it makes a lot of sense and needs to be rectified immediately. We'll be right back.
This is sports gaming information you can use. Expert analysis on odds, insights, and strategies you can literally take to the bank. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Baseball Monday, the Brewers continued their hot streak, winning their 11th in a row, 6-0 the final at Seattle. They take over the top spot in the National League Central after the Cubs lost 12-4 at home against Kansas City. It's now a 1-game advantage for Milwaukee. The White Sox have a 4-game winning streak for the first time since 2024, 8-3 the final at Tampa. The Braves beat the Giants 9-5. San Francisco's lost 6 in a row. The Mets scored a 7-5 win over the Angels. The Blue Jays beat the Yankees 4-1. 4 straight wins for Toronto. They have a 4-game advantage over New York in the AL East. The Cardinals beat the Rockies 6-2. The Astros doubled up the Diamondbacks 6-3. The Dodgers beat the Twins 5-2. Shohei Ohtani hit a go-ahead 2-run homer. The Rangers beat the A's 7-2.
Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it.
I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce.
Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner, so he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Prestio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Springtime. When a young man's fancy turns to get your mind out of the gutter. For sports gaming strategies and information that gives you an unfair advantage, you'll find it all right here.
It's the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Bing, bang, boom, people. It's a Tuesday. Oh, yeah. Football camps getting underway, having some fun. Chat box out here. Topic, Kevin, WNBA. We talked about it yesterday, All-Star break, all that's good. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about it today, but I did. Ben was bringing up like, okay, second half of the season, and it is a shame because the game before the break, it's like, hey, let's get a really good game. Liberty versus the Fever, unbelievable ratings. Caitlin Clark sits out, blowout. Going to the All-Star break, obviously no Caitlin Clark. Come out of the All-Star break, let's throw a banger again. Liberty going up against the Fever, no Caitlin Clark. They're going to get hammered in that game. So I'm like, all right, teams have 20 games left to play. Collar's probably going to be the MVP. I'm like, hey, man, hold on. When is the finals like end of August, like early September? And he's like, all right, let me look. No, it's October. And I just wanted to put like a face palm. Like, we're really going to do a 7-game series, which people will lose. I can almost see, Kevin, if it was like, okay, we're going to play the WNBA finals. It's one game. You know what?
Is it 7 now?
7 games is the finals.
They changed that?
Okay. Yeah, starting like mid-October. I say, so we're going up against the teeth of football season for college, for the NFL. Then also, baseball reappears in October for unbelievable playoffs as well. And then we're going to throw in a 7-game WNBA series. 7 games? They have to start early. And I understand, like, they college basketball. Start the WNBA season during college. You have the draft. Those kids get transplanted right into the lineup.
No, you can't do that.
You can't run the WNBA, the biggest part of your season, getting the lowest ratings. It can't be. It can't be, Kevin.
No, so let's meet in the middle. Okay? Because realistically, Donnie, the length of their regular season is half that of an NBA season. I don't think that you can, at the All-Star break, Caitlin Clark's on the team now. I just don't think you're going to do that. Here's what cannot happen. So last year was 5 games, Donnie. Game number 1 of the WNBA Finals on a Thursday night. Okay, we can't do that. Game number 2 of the WNBA Finals on a Sunday. Come on. Can't do that. And most importantly, game number 5 of the WNBA Finals was on a Sunday night. You cannot do that.
Now, do we have the days laid out this year? No, we don't have that.
Let me check.
Okay.
No, because
it has to be set, though, right? It can't just be on a flyer because you don't even know if the arena's available for those games, right?
It's a good point. Let me see. Hold on. Last possible finals date. No, so it's not. It doesn't look.
Because usually the arenas for the WNBA teams would have to set aside like certain days at that point, right?
So it basically says the last day it could possibly end is October 19th, which come on, Donnie, that's a Sunday. Donnie, see, no,
Game 7 on a Sunday when the Eagles are taking on like the Rams or something.
Donnie. No, listen, DRS. I am not going to disagree with you that it is
okay.
It's not ideal that we're going into football season, but I don't think there's a fix. But what we cannot have happen is, if that is the final game of the WNBA Finals, as you bring up, it's going up against Niners Falcons, which, by the way, isn't even the biggest Sunday night game, but it's like
smash it.
NBA would never do that. The NHL would never do. That is why the NBA and the NHL.
Do we go
really simple?
Tuesday,
Stop being
Wednesday, Friday, Monday, or Tuesday again?
Saturday.
Hey, look, we got to take off 4 days.
Well, Donnie, listen. If you have to go into one of the weekdays, like, that is fine. You can't be on a Sunday. A Sunday is crazy, man. Like, you have
7
to.
Games. Too long a season. When did we start, by the way? July? When did the WNBA start?
7 games now.
No, it didn't start July. When did the WNBA start? May? May, June, July, August, September, October. A 6-month WNBA season. Stop, man. It's supposed to be a summer league. It's supposed to be a summer league, Kevin. You get out there, training camp in late April, and then boom, May, you're playing games. May, June, July, playoffs in August. Boom. Money, maximum return, payouts. You can't. Like baseball, Kevin. Baseball is great for me. The minute September 1 comes,
I know.
Me of all people, I like, hey, Donnie, it's TEL. We're going to break down. Do we have to break down games today? Like, I'm on pro baseball today. Do we have to do games today on a Sunday? Which, in the fall, we probably won't be doing that because we're doing football stuff. But you get my drift. Like, and then I love it again in October. But when football's here, everything disappears for 90% of the fan bases. Everything.
But that is the problem. I don't know how you remedy, though, Donnie.
Yeah.
You really can't start it much earlier. Like, and postseasons are what's good. Like, do you want to lessen postseason action? You really can't. I don't know if I would have gone to a 7-game finals. I don't know if that was necessary. I don't know. Like, did we need that? They had the 5-game setups. It was fine, I thought.
Maybe not. Fine. Because I think the sprint also works better than the WNBA, which is what I was saying. Like, if you can get away with, Kevin, Tuesday night, let's just say it doesn't matter. It's going to be Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Best of 3 WNBA finals in October. You can get away with that with ratings, Kevin. Like, you can do that. The 7 games, I just think it's so drawn out in football. So, like, what game is it tonight? Oh, it's game 5? Oh, I thought it was over. It can't happen.
Yeah, see, I truly, I don't know. It's interesting. Wow. I don't know why you would go to a 7th game. I don't really think that was necessary.
It's going to be cash or more money. By the way, what was your Eagles point before we get out of this break?
Oh, my Eagles point was just on it. I've started to obviously do some work, and you can't go through the Eagles roster and not be like, well, this is obviously one of the very best in the league, right?
Yeah.
Probably the best. It's no worse than 3rd. But forget even like, oh, it's hard to win the division in a row in the NFC East. The Eagles are not positioned as like clear Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, because of how difficult it is to repeat, right? Like there's been 2 teams to repeat since 2000. It was a Brady team and a Mahomes team.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, if like odds wise, almost say, yeah, I want to, where in the NBA, the Thunder's number will be even shorter because it's like, listen, they're just going to get on a run. Like the Eagles number is going to be, moved back a little bit because of how hard it is to repeat. Would almost be the question there. You know what I mean?
Question is, looks like the Ravens are going to go undefeated regular season and the playoffs. How much talent is on that roster, people, right now? Buy in on the Ravens, only to cry around Christmas time. It's the way it goes every year. We'll be back.
We don't care what your high school girlfriend told you. You are a winner. Or at least you will be if you keep it here. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
For anyone who's worried about back taxes, has not filed tax returns, and doesn't know what to do next, stop and listen. Not filing your taxes can have severe consequences, especially in this political climate. Now that COVID is over, the IRS is getting aggressive, massively increasing enforcement and collection efforts. With politicians making all sorts of promises, especially when it comes to taxes, hiding and not dealing with your taxes will cause you harsh legal and financial ramifications. But right now, the IRS offers forgiveness and writes off a massive amount of tax debt. The Tax Doctor offers a free service that helps people get out of IRS collections and back in good standing with the government. Don't hide or bury your head in the sand. Take advantage of our free service. Call now to learn more. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. 800-816-4492. That's 800-816-4492.
Football Full Circle.
What else do you want on Football Full Circle?
No, nothing. We're starting to dive into win totals and everything else. Let me just say, you mentioned the Hall of Fame game. Let's not forget the Hall of Fame game last year, baby. It railed right through that total, up, and away. Everybody loves betting the under. Sell.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to SportsGrid, doing our part to spread the winning edge nationwide. Terrestrial, internet, TV, satellite, and our mobile app. Face it, you're one of us. One of us. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
AOD out in the chat box. CRS and K-Dub forever. Darren's out here. Aaron's out here. The fun of being in the chat box here. SportsGrid On Demand, the best place to catch us on YouTube. Type in SportsGrid, one word, on 2 words, demand 3 words. Get in here, have some fun. Yeah. Say hello in the chat box at this point. Went 2-1 yesterday, Kevin, straight up on team totals last night. Going to hopefully find a couple more tonight. I think there's some pretty good spots. But did you see yesterday's Philadelphia Phillies game, how that ended, Kevin? Did you see that one?
Oh, yeah, catcher's interference. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, the Phillies, they don't get base hits anymore. They won a baseball game in extra innings, didn't put the ball in play, but scored a run. They had a guy, ghost runner goes to second. I think walk, intentional walk, hit by, I don't know what the hell it was. And then obviously batter comes up and touches the catcher's mitt, which is, again, you can't do that as a catcher, reaching your hand all the way out to the pitcher to catch a pitch. Like hey, you know what? I'm right here catching this. So the Phillies won in an interesting way, but I'm just, I know you're a Yankees fan, and they might be 7 games back by the end of the week. And Cashman's like, hey man, you know what? Can't give up Jason Dominguez, and Booney's fine. He's doing a great job, and Aaron Judge now under 350, and everybody's panicking across the world. But my feeling is we need to change. But there's not a lot to get in baseball right now. There are so many teams in the same position looking to buy. It's like, hey, Eugenio Suarez is like Babe Ruth right now. Is he going for do you have to give up Aaron Judge now to get Eugenio Suarez because he's hitting so many home runs? And you're not talking hey, we need frontline pitching help. What frontline pitcher's getting given up right now? Look, hey, Mitch Keller's that hot guy on the market. You are not going to get that buyer's market that for 30 years was in Major League Baseball when there was less wild card teams, and the Royals take what you want. Pitcher was take what you want. We'll trade anybody you want away at this point. You're not going to get that. So I'm frustrated with my Phillies and how good the pitching staff is, and that lineup stinks right now. But across baseball, it is like an epidemic. The Dodgers barely can get out of their own way right now. The Yankees were hey, we're up 5 games. We'll always be up 5 games. Wait a second. Check the standings. Yankees are 4 back now and bleeding right now with Schlittler on the mound tonight, Kevin.
What I think is so funny is they shrunk the divisional games, right? Mm-hmm. So it was supposed to in a way, it made those games matter less, right? Yeah. It's if you have a tough division, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And the entire downfall of the New York Yankees is they can't beat the Toronto Blue Jays. They are 2-6 against the Blue Jays this year, and they're 4 games back in the division. It's just a total disaster. It's a total disaster for them. And yeah, Judge yesterday didn't step up. I thought he would. That cost me a better too, so that was unfortunate.
Stanton,
and here's the problem with, if you're the Yankees, not that not that a sweep is realistic, but a sweep was the only way you were going to, significantly close that gap. Yeah, now you have to win 2 just to, save face.
Schlittler's out there tonight. You excited for your boy getting a good start tonight?
I mean, what's his story, Donnie? Didn't he go out there and
get blown up?
Whoa,
that's
really?
His story right now. Yeah,
I thought he had some juice.
I don't know if he has juice. He's only faced a couple batters on the season, 21 batters total.
Yeah, but he's striking people out.
It's 368. It's all right. So a guy comes in, he gives up a double to every batter he faces.
Did you see
Scherzer on the line? What do you got?
Did you see how this guy Birdsong started that game yesterday, by the way, for the Giants against the Braves?
One of my team total overs. It was beautiful.
Whoa.
Imagine a pitcher coming in all right, you know what? Whoa. I just don't have it tonight, so I'm going to work my way through 3 innings. I mean, brother came in there and exploded like a bomb.
For anybody who didn't see it, walk. By the way, wild pitch then gets that guy to second base.
Yep.
Walk.
Away.
Walk. Double. Walk. Hit by pitch. They yanked him. Dude.
I mean,
come on, man.
Do you even make it back? Do you know, is the GM in the hallway saying, "Here's your plane ticket, get the hell out of here," back to Double A at this point, or work on your game in the instructional rookie league? Jesus,
I've never seen anything like it. He's a major league pitcher, couldn't throw strikes in any way.
Just walking. Walk, blown up explosion out there on the mound. Yeah, so tonight I'm hoping to get some team totals worked into the equation, but that was an easy one. They were 4.5, and it's all right, first inning, 5 runs. Let's get after it, man, and have some fun with that stuff. So that was good. Skeens had a great day yesterday. Zach Wheeler had a good day. They're even up now in the Cy Young race, 110 apiece at this point. So you do have some bettable shots coming down the stretch, but enjoy baseball because you got it for another 10 days now in the month of July. August to get you through. September 1st. Don't be DMing me, Donnie. What do you like in Major League Baseball? What are they playing today at this point? You know what I mean? That's turnover week, baby. For Kevin Walsh, Donnie Rightside, JP behind the wheels of steel. Thanks for tuning in once again to Moneyline. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. Hump day, baby. We'll be back.
actionable insights, analysis, odds, and expert perspective on sports gaming. If we do
pro season with the Colts in 2020. He holds the Chargers team records in every major category, winning 137 career games. He's sixth all-time in NFL history with more than 63,000 passing yards. He's also sixth with 421 touchdown passes.
Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In Z23, select models only.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. It's just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
If you want to be an alpha, you've got to get the winning edge. It's kind of a necessary ingredient if you want to lead the pack. So mark your territory with the winning edge. You're in the big leagues. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
Live right here on Football Full Circle. It's FFC, all a part of the SportsGrid Radio Network and Sirius XM Channel 159. He is the mastermind of the pigskin. That is Joe Lisi. I am Ben Stevens. Today, Joe, is Tuesday, July 22nd, and it's an important day. 30 of 32 NFL teams, by the end of it, will be in training camp, with the two other teams to round out the entirety of the National Football League joining and reporting to the camp fold tomorrow. That would be the Atlanta Falcons and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But most of the league has now gone camping. It's training camp in the NFL, Joe, in large part, now officially underway. With that comes not just who showed up to training camp, but probably even more notably, who is not reported to training camp at this moment. Plenty of edge rusher contract conversations to be had with Lisi's favorite front office, the Cincinnati Bengals, live right here throughout this day on Football Full Circle.
All we do on this show is talk about Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart. I'm getting sick of it at this time.
I can tell.
Trey Hendrickson didn't show up to camp. Let's talk about it for the next 4 weeks, because that's what it's all about. The Bengals made the mistake, and that's it, and we'll move forward. Here's the thing. I understand Hendrickson wanting his money, but the three other guys that got paid, Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, quite honestly, are more important to that team than Trey Hendrickson. I'm just sorry. I understand that if you believe that Cincinnati is going to make a Super Bowl championship run, they need to have Trey Hendrickson in the lineup. That's fine. But again, this team could outscore anybody. I understand he wants a deal. He deserves it. But it all comes down to financial, the financial aspect of the team. And the team could do that. It's up to they can make that decision if they feel Trey Hendrickson is not the player to help them move forward, or if it's not fiscally responsible and makes sense for them. So I don't understand. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Cincinnati's a 10-1 shot to win the AFC. And again, I don't think that changes with or without Trey Hendrickson in the lineup.
It's certainly their prerogative, right? For a team that had a winning record despite a record-setting offense with a record-setting quarterback year and missed out on the playoffs, it is their prerogative to not win football games that actually matter and miss out on the postseason to save the almighty buck. I would agree. But I think it's a hard sell, Joe, to be a front office and ownership group more worried about your cash flow than worried about Super Bowls and AFC championships. Just my idea of how we judge success around the National Football League. Not sure if it's yours.
Yeah, we're making Trey Hendrickson out like he's Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor or Bruce Smith. All right, he had one good season. I mean, he's not a world beater. I mean, okay, but are we saying he's a game changer? Are we
Four,
saying
I would actually argue.
Okay, you can make that, but let me ask you something. Did they compete for a Super Bowl does he make or break that team?
Yes.
I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
His first year in Cincinnati, they went to the Super Bowl.
Because of Trey Hendrickson, solely because of Trey Hendrickson, or was it Joe Burrow?
Partly the reason, I would say.
Okay, all right. Okay, we disagree on this. The bottom line is this:
right.
If you had to say who's a more important piece, Joe Burrow and those wide receivers, or Trey Hendrickson, you're going to say Burrow and the wide receivers, the offense. All right, so that's my point.
We saw that last year, right? With an offense that was incredible, and Trey Hendrickson being the lone bright spot of a porous defense that ranked bottom 10 in both points and yards allowed per game, being the NFL sack leader with 17.5. And what did it result in? An 0-3 start, a 4-8 beginning, needing to rattle off 5 consecutive wins to end out the year, which Cincinnati did, and still came up lame, and still came up short of the playoffs despite a winning record. To me, Joe, if you're even going to be a playoff team, you need at least an average defense. You were the guy to tell me defense wins championships, and now you're saying don't play one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Technically, the second best defensive player in the NFL last year, as he finished runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year. That guy is not important.
Well, he's important, but again, if we're coming down to like dollars and cents, and you're saying
which
you
we
can't
are,
afford okay, exactly. My point is, with Trey Hendrickson in the lineup, they got abused by Baltimore. They gave up 35-plus points per game and lost both games. With Trey Hendrickson in the lineup, Russell Wilson had one of his best performance throwing against that defense. So where was Trey Hendrickson shutting down the game? He's eerily similar. I'm sorry. Trey Hendrickson is eerily similar to Micah Parsons. With the, he is.
Oh,
he is.
No.
Show me the game, and I'll bash Micah Parsons as big as anybody. Great college player on the NFL level against superior talent like the Philadelphia Eagles. He does not take the game over. And that's why a lot of these teams are saying, you know what? Risk reward. If Trey Hendrickson's in the lineup, but we got to pay $40 and $50 million, and we're going to be handcuffed for the next 3 or 4 seasons and still not get anywhere, we can move on from that type of player.
Well, I think it's all a matter of what actually comes through when it comes to the finances of it all. Lisa Guy, my IFB is acting up. I'm going to toss it back to you for just a second. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Talk about Mike Brown. Say how smart he is. Go.
I'm not saying Mike Brown. It has nothing to do with Mike Brown. It has to do with just the big picture of the Cincinnati Bengals. And when you look at the Bengals overall, and we talk about their win total, and we talk about where they are in terms of the odds perspective, to win a Super Bowl is 22-1. With Trey Hendrickson in that lineup, does that move the needle from 22-1 to potentially 18, 15, or 14-1 like a quarterback? In my opinion, it doesn't in any capacity. I understand he's a good player. I understand that he had 17.5 sacks. But again, for me, when you look at this team as a whole, they live and die with offense. As long as Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins are there, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals do have a legitimate shot to at least outscore anybody. And whether Trey Hendrickson is in that lineup or not, and Shamar Stewart, the standout from Texas A&M, whether he signs or not, this defense is still going to be bad. So you have to really call what it is. Is Trey Hendrickson all of a sudden, with now Golden at the helm, Ben, calling the plays, they're going to elevate all of a sudden from 32nd in the league to 15th? Is that it? Is that where they're going?
But wouldn't you say that with what they had last year, even Trey Hendrickson at his best, one piece and of 11-person defense, as we understand, that their ceiling was 9-8 and a miss of the postseason? So wouldn't you want to capitalize on positive momentum to make sure your best defensive player is happy, the piece that you drafted in Shamar Stewart to help that bad defense also happy under a new defensive coordinator, so that your ceiling is not just 9 wins, but maybe 11 or 12, and actually making the playoffs and maybe getting back to the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl, which they did for the first time since 1988 in Trey Hendrickson's first year in Cincinnati and his second year in Cincinnati. Wouldn't you think? That would be important.
We talk about 9-8 overall. They lost that game on the defensive side of the ball against the Patriots, or the fact that their offense was completely non-existent against Jacoby Brissett and couldn't outduel a team that was basically a double-digit favorite in the Week 1 matchup. The game against a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and he throws for basically 300 yards and puts up 38 points on that defense. Did Trey Hendrickson game change that performance? Did he really keep Jaden Daniels in check? That's my point. We're talking about them starting slow or them being capped at 9 wins because Trey Hendrickson is not in the lineup. Who's to say that? I mean, really, he doesn't move the needle, again, as much as those other guys, that they have as good a shot as anybody to outscore and be an 11 or a 12-win football team.
Obviously, an edge rusher is not nearly as important as a quarterback or maybe even a top-end wide receiver, but you need an entire football team on 2 sides of the ball to live up to the goals of Joe Burrow and the Bengals, which is reaching a Super Bowl. We'll talk about what has happened in Cincy next.
4 out of 5 scientists agree it's smarter to be on SportsGrid. And we're pretty sure that one scientist is still a virgin. He just gives that 5. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. This update brought to you by Progressive. San Francisco is set to ban homeless people from living in RVs by adopting strict new parking limits the mayor says are necessary to keep sidewalks clear and prevent trash buildup. The policy, up for final review by San Francisco supervisors today, targets at least 400 recreational vehicles in the city of 800,000 people. Target is ending price matching of products sold for less at its competitors' stores and websites. For 12 years, Target customers who found a product that was sold for less on Amazon or Walmart's websites could request to buy the same product that was sold at a Target store at the lower price, but the nationwide retailer confirmed Monday that it was updating its longtime price match guarantee policy, removing the price match with competitors and only keeping the match for products with different price differences that were sold in Target stores and on Target's website. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins.
Yeah, I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
There's something you should know and always remember. SportsGrid does not increase luck. We're your unfair advantage for the latest sports gaming information. If you're looking for luck, go find a horseshoe. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
What was that? No way. Breaking news here on Football Full Circle. Joe Lisi has just been hired as executive vice president in the Bengals front office alongside Duke Tobin as they continue making zero progress on contract negotiations with Trey Hendrickson. This is, I mean, you got to admit, it's a little bit fun right now. Here is why Trey Hendrickson.
I would just say I would take the Teddy Roosevelt approach: speak softly and carry a big stick. That's right. Absolutely. Drop the hammer when it matters.
Would you say Big Stick is leading the NFL in sacks with 17.5 for a second consecutive year?
He's a good player. He's not a transformational player like LT, Reggie White, some of the great Bruce Smith. I'm sorry, he's not.
Greatest ever do it,
Derek Thomas, and we got Derek Thomas coming off the edge. I mean, come on. We're making it sound like Trey Hendrickson's a world beater. I mean, plus he looks like he could gain about 10 to 15 pounds of muscle in the gym. I mean, give me a break. Muscle up,
He's got to still grid, man. If he was still gritting, he'd be on that incline bench press hitting 225. Here is the issue with Trey Hendrickson, who did not report today to camp with Cincinnati. As he claims in terms of the contract negotiations, Cincinnati has been giving him atrociously low offers. Mike Brown, team president and owner, whose father Paul founded the franchise back in the days of the NFL in 1968, had this to say about contract negotiations with Trey Hendrickson and his reps at the moment. Quote, dealing with him, referring to Trey, is sometimes not so easy, and that's all right. He's got the right to argue his case. We'll try to make sense of it from our perspective. We'll see. I'm not persuaded that it isn't going to get done. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner the better. A little bit of optimism, I would say, Lisa Guy, that Mike Brown is presenting that the contract with Trey Hendrickson will be done at a certain point this offseason. And I do believe that to be the case. But with Hendrickson not at camp today in Cincy, it does feel as though the two sides remain very far apart.
Yeah, it does right now. And again, when there's agent involvement, there's, it's a discussion and it's a sit down. And it could take multiple conversations until both sides come to an agreement. But, I agree in taking the stands of a cheap organization if they don't want to pay the players. I understand that. But at some point, the organization and these teams do have to get back some control because they've been railroaded by these agents and players now where we see astronomical prices going through the roof and there's no end in sight. I mean, yes, $40 million for Myles Garrett, $41 million for TJ Watt, and now Hendrickson, and now all of a sudden Micah Parsons when he gets his deal. And then all of a sudden the next group will get 50. I mean, when does it stop? I mean, it can't go to infinity. I understand the salary cap keeps going higher. I get that. But at some point, these teams have to take a stand and say, you know what? The guy isn't worth the money at this point. Just the way Brock Purdy. Everybody thought he was going to get $65 million, and they settled on $49 million because that's really his market value. Maybe Cincinnati's taking a little bit of a tougher stand with one of their star players to really set a precedent. You don't know.
So I understand that point, right? Basically, every time that somebody signs a contract, it becomes a record setter. Most guaranteed money, highest paid, whatever it is in position or non-quarterback ever. But the point being, Joe, that even if Mike Brown and his family are conservative with their pocketbooks, they don't really have the reason to be. It could be their prerogative, but in terms of the money, the final year of the 2010s decade, that was 2019. The salary cap in the NFL, $188.2 million. The salary cap entering 2025, $279.2 million. The cap has nearly increased by $100 million in 6 years. And that includes how it came back down from 2020 to 2021, given that COVID-19 season. Again, that is a substantial increase in the salary cap, and it has not slowed down. It has increased by more than $50 million in the last 2 years. So the money is there. Whatever the prerogative is for the Bengals, the money is there. And Joe, I would agree that sometimes you're paying a guy that's looking for his second contract in the NFL after a rookie deal, or a consistent contributor that might not be one of the 5 or 10 best players at his position, but based on when that extension is due up, he receives a large amount. For instance, Patrick Mahomes makes the 11th most based on annual average value in terms of quarterbacks in the NFL, and yet when he signed his 10-year, $450 million extension, we thought that was crazy numbers to get to $500 million. I get that. Trey Hendrickson, to me, has proved that he is one of the 5 best edge rushers in the NFL. And there are 4 guys right now, Joe. TJ Watt last week, Myles Garrett before, Danielle Hunter and Max Crosby that make more than $35 million per year at the edge rusher spot. To me, Trey Hendrickson has more than proved that he deserves to be in that category as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, yes, you mentioned the players that he's there. Myles Garrett, that team is a losing organization right now, and we'll see if they compete even for a wild card spot. Same thing with Max Crosby and Las Vegas, right? When you talk about being able to compete for championships, you want to have a star defensive player to elevate your team. I get that. I understand it. And even if the money's there, we don't know, and I'll just say this. I'm not taking sides, but we don't know what goes on in these negotiations either. You know, these agents have forced their way to just get these players signed, sealed, and delivered. They collect their money and they move on. And yes, even though the organization is making, billions over the course of 10 to 15 years, there has to be a little hardball at some point. I mean, we can't just get these skyrocketing, the contracts. These guys don't even want to fight through injury. And now all of a sudden you talk about the money is not worth the performance on the field. When do we elevate that? Look at Juan Soto. To go to baseball. I'm just saying, the guy's loafing in right field. Guy's getting almost $800 billion. And the $800 million, the guy's loafing. Give me a break with these guys. I'm tired of it.
He's had a pretty good second part of the first half that continued. He had a game-tying 2 RBI single yesterday for the Mets to get them back into it. I'm just saying, he's kind of working his way back. This is football full circle, though, sir. More of FFC next.
There's smart and there's not smart. Not smart is hope as a strategy. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Keep it here and win. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
1963 in their second clash, Sonny Liston once again KO's Floyd Patterson in round 1 in Las Vegas to retain the heavyweight boxing title.
2 jarring right hands are followed by the knockout blow, the left uppercut. Patterson, bewildered, is not sure that the fight has been stopped, this time in 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
Are you looking to get into shape? If you need to find motivation, a new study from the UK suggests matching your personality type to your workout generates maximum results. The perfect activity for high-energy extroverts? Group sports. If you're more the nervous type, short bursts of activity with long breaks in between. Matching workouts to personality means more fun and success. Of course, if your natural state of fitness, snoozing on the couch, just take your old hound dog out for a walk. Follow me, I'm G. Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The early line.
And the Western Conference as a whole will still always run through Oklahoma City. The Thunder price a third of everybody else.
They're not even needing to retool. They're just really good and really young, and they want it. So the expectations probably will be the Thunder will be even better, Ben, than we just saw them in their NBA championship season.
It's the early line with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. There comes a point when the chips are down. To coin a phrase. When the only thing you can do is stop and wait. Do you want to face that moment prepared or rely on luck? Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
Live right here on Football Full Circle. It is FFC. Just a little bit more on the Bengals. Before we talk Lisi's second favorite NFL player and franchise, the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons. And then we will move to college football, Joe, as we've got a big week of media days beginning as we speak in Charlotte at ACC Media Days, and just in a little bit in Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas for Big Ten Media Days as well. Lisi, we also saw yesterday Mike Brown at the pre-training camp luncheon in Cincinnati talk about the Shamar Stewart situation that you and I discussed with some color and some passion yesterday here on Football Full Circle. basically Mike Brown explained why he believes there is a holdup to that rookie deal at the moment. Shamar Stewart remains the only first-round pick that is unsigned. Shamar Stewart remains one of two of the 257 NFL draft picks from this past April unsigned at the moment, and the only other one is Quinshon Judkins, who was arrested over a week ago. Here is what Mike Brown had to say of putting in contracts and conduct detrimental to the franchise, basically saying that if Shamar Stewart or a player like that were to, quote, end up sitting in jail, he doesn't want to pay that player, which is the result of the default clause the Bengals are trying to add to Shamar Stewart's deal that was not included in the previous two first-round selections the Bengals made in 2023, Myles Murphy, and in 2024, Amarius Mims. It is why Stewart feels targeted by that default clause being added. And Joe, although that might make some common sense, the question then begs, well, does Shamar Stewart have off-the-field troubles? No, has never been involved in any legal trouble off the field. All right, is Shamar Stewart a dirty player? Has he been suspended for hits or something of the sort during his playing days at A&M? The answer to that, also no. If the Bengals in their pre-draft research, though, were spooked out by anything, then the second follow-up question would be, why draft that kind of guy in the first place? To me, the default clauses make no sense. Again, this is not about length of contract or the money owed. It's only about the default clause, and that at this moment is keeping Shamar Stewart out of training camp for Cincinnati.
Yeah, so let's look at this on both sides. So when a team drafts, you have the owner, you have the head coach and GM, and then you have the scouting department, right? So the scouting department says Shamar Stewart can definitely help our team. He's a pure number one. We should take him. Everything on the field and everything we've done in terms of background checks out. Let's take the guy, right? Maybe the owner doesn't want to take him, but he's given the GM and he's given the head coach and the organization that scouted Shamar Stewart the opportunity to make the pick. But then once Shamar Stewart holds out, that's where maybe the owner gets involved and says, you know what, I'm putting my foot down and I'm going to make some comments. Maybe after an internal investigation, they found something. I don't know. Again, so everything, our knowledge, he's a clean player, no past history or any type of background. But it is ironic that the owner would come out and say that. Now, I will say, Shamar Stewart came out yesterday and tweets out that he's, practicing with Texas A&M. That's all well and good, but we know that in order to even get back with the Aggies, you got to file and put in a lawsuit or a disclaimer, something, an injunction in with the NCAA. So that we know that's not happening within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So here we are. We're at a standstill. I understand the organization standpoint. I understand the player standpoint. At some point, the player, if he really wants to play, then should bend the knee. Again, this is where we're at. I'm not saying it's right, but does the player want to play for the Cincinnati Bengals? Does he want to showcase his talent on the NFL? If so, just get it done and move on. The longer he waits in terms of camp, he's going to miss out on reps. He's going to miss out on the scheme. And again, we're talking about college to the NFL, first-year player. He can make an impact, but expecting him to get a dominant performance from week 1 to 17 is just out of the cards the longer he stays out.
But this is why you feel, at least in my perspective, Joe, for the player, because he hasn't had any legal issues and does not have any at the moment. He has never been suspended for any of his on-field or off-the-field actions either. And part of the default clause could be if Shamar Stewart were a dirty player and be suspended by the NFL league office for 4 to 6 games because of illegal hits. None of that is the case, and none of that has happened. And although this default clause has been included and currently is by other NFL teams for certain rookies, it wasn't prior. And that has not been explained clearly, thoroughly enough on either side to get a deal done. So will a deal be done soon? That's what we discuss up next.
The The Winning Edge. You've got it. But not everybody has it, because not everybody listens to us. But we're working on that. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
8-time Pro Bowl quarterback Phillip Rivers announced Monday that he's retiring as a Charger. Although he hasn't played since his final pro season with the Colts in 2020, he holds the Chargers team records in every major category, winning 137 career games. He's sixth all-time in NFL history with more than 63,000 passing yards. He's also sixth with 421 touchdown passes. Offensive lineman Zach Tom and the Packers have agreed to a contract extension, 4 years, $88 million. He gets a signing bonus of just over $30 million. The total deal, the largest for an offensive lineman in NFL history. The 26-year-old tackle's now under contract through 2029. He was originally a fourth-round pick out of Wake Forest in 2022.
Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to SportsGrid, spreading the winning edge far and wide. Terrestrial, internet, TV, satellite, and don't forget our mobile app. Face it, the winning edge is everywhere. Somewhere there's a squirrel frustrated he can't get a phone. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
Live right here on Football Full Circle, it is FFC. Ultimately, Joe, we have talked so much this offseason, and it continues now, of course, with some impact and importance that the Bengals have reported to training camp, the rookies on Saturday, the remainder of the team, the vets, on this Tuesday, that neither Shamar Stewart or Trey Hendrickson are currently in camp. We have discussed and dissected the entirety of these contract situations, so I will not ask you to do that any longer. My final question about this at the moment, until at least we get some other large update, is do you think both Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart will play for the Bengals this year?
No, not both. It's one or the other, and most likely it'll be Hendrickson. I do believe Shamar Stewart will take a if he's gone this long, heading into camp, and he still hasn't budged, and he's tweeting out about Texas A&M, I don't think he's going to budge at all, and he's going to force the Bengals' hand. And I think they're just going to say, you know what, this is what we're doing. Either put up or shut up, sign on the dotted line and play. And if not, we'll just move on. I think obviously Hendrickson has done more for that team in helping their success and being a mainstay and leading the league in sacks, like you mentioned, and being at the top statistically for the Bengals. And that obviously holds more weight than a college player coming off and wanting to dictate terms. And that's the bottom line. And I understand both sides, but I think if I had a bet right now, Hendrickson's there week one. Shamar Stewart might even be on a different football team come September.
I do believe that both will play for the Bengals this year. I think it could take the entirety of training camp. Today is July 22nd. It might not happen until August 22nd or even into early September. That is what the Bengals have done the last few off seasons. 2023, Joe Burrow trying to find his way back from a shortened offseason with the calf injury, wanted the extension done the entirety of the offseason. It wasn't. It did not happen until the opening Thursday night of the year, basically as the Chiefs and the Lions kicked off that season opener. Last offseason, of course, it was Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, both looking for a new deal. T under the tag for a second consecutive year. Jamar Chase, of course, looking for that new deal. Neither got done. And then ultimately this offseason, both got paid. Joe, I would not be surprised to see this situation carry out the remainder of preseason and training camp for Cincy. But I do believe both will play for the Bengals this year. What's next for Shamar Stewart, you might be asking? Well, he has until week 11 of this season to sign that rookie deal. If he does not, that is when he will have the decision to re-enroll in the NFL draft for 2026, where 31 other teams, not named Cincinnati, would have the potential to select him. There's been some conversation. He is at College Station. He is working out in the facilities with Texas A&M. He's going to pay for the Aggies this year? No, that is not a potential. He would need necessary legislation, having to sue the NCAA for extra eligibility. We don't think that would realistically have a chance for Stewart to win, nor, Joe, would it probably wrap itself up in tidy fashion that it would have an impact on the 2025 NFL or 2025 college football season. One final edge rusher to discuss. Yesterday, the Cowboys showed up for training camp in Oxnard, California. Micah Parsons was there despite being upset with his own contract negotiations with Dallas. Brian Schottenheimer was talking about Micah Parsons yesterday and the idea of Parsons holding in. Of course, Jerry Jones had to chime in. Quote, just because we sign him doesn't mean we are going to have him. He missed 6 games last year, end quote. He then went on to reference a certain quarterback that became the highest paid in the NFL last year and missed more than 2/3 of the season. Of course, that is his own quarterback. That is Dak Prescott. Should be noted, Micah Parsons only missed 4 games, not 6 a season ago, and was still a Pro Bowl level player. It makes not a ton of sense to me, Joe, to take shots at your own guys when you are in contract negotiations with them. But if you're in the Bengals front office, hand in hand with Duke Tobin and Mike Brown, when it comes to Micah Parsons, I'm sure you're right next to Jerry and Steven as well.
Oh, I am. But I'll say this, out of all the owners, Jerry has been free with the money. I mean, he hasn't been cheap in some of the dollars that he's thrown out, over the past 10 to 15 seasons as Dallas Cowboy owner, even going back to the days of Irvin, Emmitt Smith, and Troy Aikman. I mean, he fiscally took care of all of his players that performed. Now, Dak Prescott, he makes the highest paid quarterback right before week 1 last year. He gets hurt, unfortunately. We talk about risk reward. You lay out the money and the guy can't even play a complete season. Now we have Micah Parsons. He's going to be in that category, right? 42, 43, highest paid defensive edge rusher potentially in the game. And he's coming out and saying, you know what? It's more about the money. And even Jerry has said he might take periodic, step-aways from maybe the day-to-day operations and maybe give it over to his son, to manage. So you're starting to see maybe him at the end of his rope, like, hey, guys, I'm paying the money. I want the product on the field now. You can't lose a wild card game and get blasted by Jordan Love and Green Bay or get smacked around by San Francisco in back-to-back seasons. You got to put up or shut up. And maybe he's trying to get these guys to toughen up a bit. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, so it's always very interesting, Joe, right? We made fun of the Bengals because this is kind of their status quo as well, going into these contract negotiations, penny pinching, if you will, or at least taking their hard stance when it comes to finances. This is also very classic Jerry Jones. He loves the drama. He loves the spotlight. You put a microphone in front of him, he is going to make sure a headline comes out of it, which is what we have here. But ultimately, although I do not agree with the business practice and think it is the most financially sound move, Jerry does pay. He often pays a premium because he loves the drama and waits to the 11th hour to get these deals done, as was the case last year with Dak Prescott, making Dak the only quarterback that makes more than $55 million in the NFL, and it's $60 million per year, paying CeeDee Lamb $34 million as well. And, Joe, that was the conversation for the Cowboys during training camp the entirety of late July and August last year. This deal did not get done on the second day of camp or right before. It took multiple weeks into the preseason for both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to sign those large extensions. Again, the reason I give credit to guys like Darren Muji and the New York Jets for paying Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson after 3 years of their rookie deal is because you're going to pick up that fifth-year team option. You believe in these guys and what they have done. Micah Parsons is exactly that, the Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2021, an AP All-Pro, first-teamer in each of his first 2 years, second-team All-Pro his third year 2 seasons ago, and even last year missing 4 games, still had 13 sacks and was a Pro Bowl performer. Micah Parsons has proven it in what he has done on the football field as well. Had Jerry Jones wanted to make Micah Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history last offseason, Joe, he could have, to the tune of $34.5 million per year, and that would have been averaged out over the final 2 years of Parsons' rookie deal. Now, if he wants to make Micah Parsons the highest paid non-QB ever, it would need to be more than $41 million per year, and Micah Parsons under his final year of his rookie contract. Again, I don't think it is that financially sound, but who am I to talk to the owner of the most valuable franchise in all of the NFL that ultimately, Joe, loves the spotlight, loves a press conference, and also loves paying big checks because he can.
Yeah, and he's a great actor. He's so good. I mean,
Right.
did you see him?
You see
Great.
Landman?
He played himself. Oh, off the charts. Academy Award. Unbelievable. Jerry Jones knows how to do it, baby. He's going to pay Micah. Watch. He'll overpay, and Micah still won't produce.
Yeah, he's going to pay Micah. There is no doubt. He's probably going to overpay for Micah Parsons. I believe Parsons produces, though. Let's talk some conference media days in college football next.
We're not saying every SportsGrid listener is a legend, but you might start thinking about who's going to play you in the movie. Just saying. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg. This update brought to you by Progressive. San Francisco is set to ban homeless people from living in RVs by adopting strict new parking limits the mayor says are necessary to keep sidewalks clear and prevent trash buildup. The policy up for final review by San Francisco supervisors today targets at least 400 recreational vehicles in the city of 800,000 people. Target is ending price matching of products sold for less at its competitors' stores and websites. For 12 years, Target customers who found a product that was sold for less on Amazon or Walmart's websites could request to buy the same product that was sold at a Target store at the lower price, but the nationwide retailer confirmed Monday that it was updating its longtime price match guarantee policy, removing the price match with competitors and only keeping the match for products with different price differences that were sold in Target stores and on Target's website. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash.
Lowe's knows big savings make a big difference, especially when you're shopping for appliances. Hurry in to get up to 30% off select major appliances. Plus, My Lowe's Rewards members get free delivery, free haul away, free installation and parts on purchases of $2,500 or more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Price, delivery time, and vehicle availability may vary based on order size and location. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/delivery for more details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Remember when you were thankful you could just get AM and FM?
Things have progressed.
Now even an app on your phone can give you a 21st century thrill with that little drop of heaven called
the deposit notification.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
Live right here on Football Full Circle, it is FFC. He is Joe Lisi. I am Ben Stevens. All right. The mastermind of the pigskin has absolutely hated all of this contract conversation as we get ready for training camp around the NFL. But you know what he loves? More than anything, even more than me? That's college football. I'm not sure media days really stack up, but it builds that excitement getting ready for a new college football season. Lisa Guy today, ACC Media Days in Charlotte now underway. Big Ten Media Days starting in just a little bit out in Las Vegas. Yes, the home of Big Ten Media Days, Las Vegas, Nevada. Joe, let's start with ACC Media Day. Some big news from Commissioner Jim Phillips today saying that the ACC is going to require availability reports entering this season. That will be posted first 2 days prior to Saturday. That's Thursday. Follow-ups and updates on Friday and early in those game day hours. Very huge when it comes to a college football handicapping perspective because for far too long, Joe, they have not required availability reports. And thus, if you are not requiring availability reports, you can keep a lot of things under the rug until we see the actual game. And it's like, whoa, where's the starting running back? Where's the starting left tackle? Heck, where's the starting quarterback? Why is he on the sidelines with no shoulder pads on? This a big step as we see the evolution of college sports. And it does harken the idea, Joe, that if these guys are getting paid, there should be a professional aspect to their availability out there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the injury reports last year with the SEC coming front and center stage, putting those out so we have availability as it relates to the gambling perspective. And we've seen this throughout the years. I can go back a couple of years ago in the ACC, one game in particular, I believe it was Vodtech and either Boston College or NC State. Vodtech was a favorite, and they had like half the starters out, and they still won the game, but the line completely moved in favor of the underdog. So again, when we talk about line movement, it seems like Vegas always is ahead of the curve, and even the books as a whole in terms of navigating the line before the public. Now we're on at least more equal ground than where we were at the start of last year, and that's important, especially when you're betting. You're putting money out, and let's say you're betting Florida State with Thomas Castellanos week 1, and he's no longer there, or let's say he's out for the game against Alabama, and now there's stuff in there, 12.5, 13.5, 14.5. How many you want? We'll scoop it right in, right? I mean, that's the problem. So we'll see how this affects, the lines. We'll see how it affects the line movement. I think it is a good thing, and I think all these leagues should do that. I know Mario Big Chest is up on the dais this morning, along with Carson Beck to start. You think anybody's going to ask Carson Beck about why the Cavender twins bashed him in the offseason, calling him socially awkward? I mean, I would really like to ask that question and see if he steps up.
Yeah, I'm not so sure they will ask about his ex-girlfriend and his ex-girlfriend's sister and the influencers, Haley and Hannah, right? Cavender?
Believe so.
I'm not even sure which of the H's it was dating Carson Beck, but Carson Beck is there today, Joe, and was already at the podium speaking for Miami. He was asked about the idea, do you feel pressure being with the Canes now, having to replace the number 1 overall pick in Cam Ward? He said, quote, to have the opportunity to go out and play football again. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm looking forward to it. End of that quote. Lisa Guy, Carson Beck to me is one of the most intriguing quarterbacks entering 2025 in college football. At this time last year in Athens, we thought it would be Carson Beck, far more likely to be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft in 2025 than Cam Ward or maybe anybody else. Of course, he got injured with UGA, had a bad year at least. He regressed based on his performance in 2023, had the elbow surgery, hit the transfer portal, and UGA has already kind of moved on, and now he is at Miami for a large payday. It has not been the easiest offseason because of some of the off-the-field issues dating somebody in the spotlight can bring. What do you expect out of Carson Beck in 2025 now with the Canes?
Well, it's tough to follow up a Heisman Trophy candidate in Cam Ward that electrified, with his performance on the field and really put Miami in a position to get to the college football playoff. Now, they didn't step up against Georgia Tech or Syracuse, but Cam Ward played lights out. Now, from a pressure perspective, I think, I think Carson Beck can handle it. Listen, he went to Georgia, a team that won 29 of the last 30 games, a team that was a national championship contender in back-to-back years. So he's played in big games. But when you're the face of the program now, and you have to elevate to another level, C.J. Daniels, they get in, a big star wide receiver, Mark Fletcher is there. He has to produce. When we're looking at the productivity aspect of Carson Beck, let's be honest, he tailed off. He had bad performances last year. 175 yards, 3 picks against Texas. He didn't step up, I believe, like $190 or right there, a couple of interceptions against Ole Miss. Those are what cost that Georgia really a better spot in the college football playoff. So if he could revert to the player that he was 2 years ago, I think that they might even be better than what Cam Ward was in that team, just because he's a prototypical drop-back passer and you could build around him. But again, it's Miami. Every time they're there, they seem to fall off a cliff, Ben.
Yeah, Joe, it was a really weird year for Carson Beck. After leading the SEC in terms of pass attempts, completions, and yards in 2023 with 3,941, the only category he led the SEC in last year when it came to quarterbacking was interceptions. He had 12, that tied for the top of the conference. And those 12, Joe, in the most critical game, 3 INTs apiece against Alabama, Texas, and Florida, in an interception in an ugly game when they got absolutely lambasted by Ole Miss on the road in Oxford. 20 of 31, 186 yards, and a pick. He was also sacked 5 times. Carson Beck regressed in a big way a season ago. Can he find that now under Shannon Dawson and a new system offensively in South Beach? That's the question. That's what Miami is banking on. We'll talk some ACC odds and a quick peek at Big Ten Media Days in Sin City on the other side of the break here on Football Full Circle.
Luck is winning the lottery. Strategy is settling your divorce before cashing in the ticket. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channel dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi, then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
It's stark but true. You can either listen to SportsGrid for strategies, odds, and more, or you can pay your bills by digging in your couch cushions for change. Just be sure to wear gloves. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. You're listening to Football Full Circle with Joe Lisi and Ben Stevens.
All right, back
I
on
might have
football.
overstayed my. Hold on. Let me pass it off to you. I might have overstayed my welcome here on Football Full Circle. They need the studio for other things, so I sadly have to bow out. We'll be back tomorrow breaking it all down. Lisi talks some ACC title and Big Ten title odds. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Lisi brings you home here on SportsGrid Radio.
9.5 win total for Carson Beck and Mario Big Chest Cristobal. I mentioned C.J. Daniels coming over for LSU. C.J. Daniels, one of the better wide receivers for the LSU Tigers. But we talk about those players that have transferred in. Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, Barry Brown from Kentucky, and C.J. Daniels decided to go with Carson Beck to a wide-open offense with Miami. And I think Carson Beck could have success for the Miami Hurricanes. But in order for them to get over 9.5 wins, be a 10 or an 11-win football team, and potentially really challenge for a college football playoff berth, they need Carson Beck to revert to the quarterback that he was just a couple of seasons ago. We talked about big game performances. We talked about Georgia basically winning 29 of the last 30 games a couple of years ago with Carson Beck at the helm. If he's that type of player, Miami could have a special season. Now, when you look at big picture for Miami, 9.5 wins, but yet a college football playoff appearance. And to make the college football playoff, they're going to need that defense to take another step. And that is the cause of concern when you look at just Miami as a whole. To make the playoffs plus 198, you're getting a 2-1 number. That defense, in terms of games that had to step up, Georgia Tech and more importantly, Fran Brown and Syracuse, they get absolutely boat race. They give up 30-plus points. They can't stop the run. They need a better effort. And that's shocking considering Mario Cristobal comes from Oregon, where he built up the offense in the interior lines. On the defensive side of the ball, you think about interior line play. Miami at times was still inconsistent with Damian Martinez and Mark Fletcher running the football. The defense needs to be elite this year. They have to be in the area of about 130 rushing yards per game. Can they be a 29% third down defense? Can they be opportunistic and that back end force turnovers, play man-to-man coverage? If so, then they have a special team. If I had a bet right here, right now, I'd bet them at minus 250 not to make the playoffs, and I would take a shot at under their win total of 9.5 wins. When you look at some of the other teams in the conference, which teams am I high on to potentially challenge for an ACC championship outside of Clemson? I still think you have to look at Louisville at an 8-1 number. You look at what Jeff Brom has built there, going back to his alma mater, elevating the offense. You look at the one key performance on the road in Death Valley last year where they rushed for over 7 yards per carry on a very good Clemson defense. If you get that type of rushing effort out of Louisville this year and you get good, solid offensive line play, Louisville at an 8-1 number could be interesting. The other one is Duke, 26-1. You want an outside shot. I was very down on Manny Diaz in respect to year number one, but he elevated that team to the next level. You talk about what they have this year. They bring back 6 starters on the defensive side of the ball, a 26-1 number. That's basically, you're getting double the value from Georgia Tech and Haynes King that sit at 13-1. That's the team that a lot of people, including Ben, are high on. When you look at Haynes King and Georgia Tech as a whole, what stands out for you? Well, they knocked off Cam Ward and Miami with a very important game down the stretch. Haynes King and Georgia Tech from an interior line play, and Brent Key went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the SEC and all of college football in the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, forced 8 overtimes. They've covered in back-to-back games now against the Georgia Bulldogs. They haven't won, but they've closed the gap against their in-state arch rival, and that's a huge measuring stick when you're looking at Georgia Tech as a whole, 13-1 to win the ACC. You want to take a shot on Georgia Tech to potentially win or make a college football playoff? I'll give you the number right now on FanDuel, plus 710 for Haynes King and Georgia Tech to make the playoffs. Not a bad number considering. Louisville, that I mentioned, plus 390, has pretty good odds. The other team that really needs to make a statement, and I don't know if they will, but Mike Norvell is on the hot seat. We talk about Mike Norvell elevating this team a couple of years ago. It's do or die in Tallahassee. For Danny Ohlers, Ben Stevens, I'm Joe Lisi. We'll see you tomorrow on Football Full Circle, breaking down more college football. Have a great day, everyone.
You found the advantage for gaming, odds, and more. But we call it the winning edge.